What's up, guys? It's Lord Both here for another video, and there is a new product coming out very soon that is meant to revolutionize the gaming industry, pushing the boundaries of what we know about video games and changing forever the landscape of how video games are played. No, I'm not talking about Xbox's Project Helix, which is their first ever attempt to make a gaming PC, effectively marking the end of the console era, as consoles have now reached price parity with gaming PCs, effectively ending their economical approachability to them, as gaming PCs have more adaptability, variety, and quantity of games that can be played on them.
Join me in PC gaming and ascend to godhood!
And the whole idea of a console being a home entertainment system has essentially been killed with the invention of things like the Roku.
Television, TV, television,
television.
Kinetic gaming that we saw with the Wii and Xbox Connect, if you got one of those, was, as we always knew it was going to be, a gimmick. And the only logical way that we could see forward is that consoles simply become gaming PCs, branded gaming PCs. And Xbox is going to be the first one to do that. Technically the second if you count the Steam machine, but Steam is already on PCs. Anyway, we're not going to get into that.
Let's not get bogged down with who did what to who.
Because that's not the tool. That's not the thing that I'm saying is going to revolutionize the gaming industry. No. What's actually going to revolutionize the gaming industry is a little thing called DLSS5.
You serious?
That's right, folks. We're going to talk about McGraphics. Because from NVIDIA's own newsroom, it states that NVIDIA DLSS5 delivers AI-powered breakthrough in visual fidelity for games. DLSS5 infuses pixels with photoreal lighting and materials to bridge the gap between rendering and reality. NVIDIA's DLSS5, arriving this fall, introduces a real-time neutral rendering model that infuses pixels with photoreal lighting and materials. DLSS5 is the company's most significant breakthrough in computer graphics since the debut of real-time ray tracing in 2018. Ah yes, ray tracing, such a popular feature.
Nope.
We all love when games like Doom the Dark Ages waste time on trying to involve ray tracing in their game, in which you're constantly moving, so you never have time to stand still and see the detailed reflection of you in the demon's eyes that you're fighting. But DLSS5 will be supported by the industry's biggest publishers, the game developers including Bethesda, Capcom, Hada Studio, NetEase, NCSoft, S-Game, Tencent, Ubisoft. I don't know why we're saying Tencent and Ubisoft as separate entities, saying that Ubisoft is pretty much Tencent at this point, and Warner Brothers, because Lord knows Warner Brothers needs any kind of thing in their repertoire to try to sell as many versions of whatever Hogwarts Legacy sequel they're going to come out with to try to make up for the massive losses of their company. That's what happens when, despite the fact that you have the #1 selling game of the year, you also have one of the greatest flops of video game history in the same year. But if you're wondering exactly what DLSS5 looks like and you haven't been on social media to see all the memes being made of it, well, let's show you the video.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Brother, And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever.
Yeah, this looks bad. I don't know why you would ever want to see Starfield NPCs looking completely emotionally dead inside as they converse and react to you, but now in full Uncanny Valley. But apparently you can do that with DLSS5.
'Cause we're boring!
Essentially what this is it's a AI slop filter. It gives the look of whatever you're seeing graphically like it is essentially a photorealistic AI generated image, which is what creates that sort of Uncanny Valley visual. There's a reason why people don't like that, by the way, because Uncanny Valley gives you an uneasy feeling because you can tell that something is actively trying to manipulate and trick you, trying to get your brain to believe that it is a real live thing standing in front of you when you know in reality it is not. This knowledge that you're being manipulated is what gives us sort of that uneasy feeling. And it's why a lot of people, just from a visual standpoint, I think, are rejecting this. And trust me, they are definitely rejecting it. Just go to the replies, go to the quote tweets. You're going to see a lot of people and a lot of companies actually rejecting this in droves. But beyond just the heebie-jeebies you get looking at DLSS5 rendered visuals, there are also several problems and concerns people have from the get-go. The first being art. Think back to some of the favorite game series that came out during the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 era. The Gears of War series, Fable series, Saints Row series. All games graphic-wise and art style-wise that relied more on exaggerated characteristics. They weren't meant to be optimally looking characters. They were meant to be stylistically and artistically exaggerated, have a personality to them, whether that was zany or goofy or tough. This sort of device can't work with that kind of artistry. By the way, those game series in their heyday were very popular and successful. And there are still games out there today that are not graphics juggernauts that are insanely successful, like some of the most played games in the world. You know, Fortnite, Pokemon, and of course, Minecraft. Yeah, let's try to put DLSS5 on Minecraft. See how that works out. And now listen, I'm not a McGraphics guy, nor am I a guy who's super artistic and is like, I only want to play something like Minecraft. In fact, I'm not a big fan of Minecraft because of the whole digital looking art style. It's just not my thing. It never appealed to me. But there's no denying the fact that it is popular. And it's definitely financially viable. Hell, we're still having new games come out that are not graphics juggernauts that are dominating the Steam charts. Slay the Spire 2, a deck-building, roguelike strategy indie game, broke an all-time player count peak of over 500,000 players.
Damn!
So if you don't think there is a market for low-quality graphics games, you're completely mental. And most of those games I just mentioned, there's no game I think that can come out with DLSS5 put on it that will ever compete in terms of player count or copies sold with those games. But that doesn't mean that companies aren't going to try to use it, replacing artistic substance and style with DLSS5. And so amongst AAA gaming studios, you will see an even further decline in variety of art styles within games, which I think will push forward indie games even more, as their art styles will juxtapose even stronger against those of AAA gaming studios, giving them more individuality and personality and making them more appealing. Essentially, this move for AAA gaming studios to use this, and use it probably extensively, will push them even further in the direction of becoming the McDonald's of gaming, while people are craving artisanal farm-to-table burgers. The second problem is costs, and I think developers are actually thinking they're going to cut costs by optimizing games to use DLSS5, because they're going to actually spend less time and labor costs actually rendering and developing character models, putting bare bones and skin out there and letting DLSS5 essentially do the rest, pushing the absolute boundaries of what bridging the gaps, as NVIDIA says, DLSS5 can do. Unfortunately, the time it takes to optimize for DLSS5, as we've also seen in the problems with ray tracing optimization, and the cost of hardware to be able to run it as a potential turnoff as well, may still end up costing the developers. We're just now getting GTA 6 after so many years of having GTA 5. With this sort of thing, I think we can see GTA 7 in, 20 years? Which by then will probably be the same time Elder Scrolls 6 drops.
Who's laughing now?
But even more than this, there is problems with the actual functionality of DLSS5. Because even in Digital Foundry's own article, where they glaze DLSS5, they even state there's much we don't know though. That starts with the computational cost of ML algorithm. NVIDIA actually used 2 RTX 5090s for its demos. One plays the game, the other exclusively runs DLSS5 technology. The use of 2 GPUs is required right now, as DLSS5 has a long way to go in terms of optimization, both in terms of performance and its VRAM footprint, which is their way of saying this thing requires a massive amount of power, probably eating up a ton of VRAM, and it's so taxing, at least right now, that it has to be ran on 2 separate PCs, both of them running 5090s. Now they do say that in the future the technology is meant to be used on one complete system, but as you heard them state right there before, it's got a quote long way to go for optimization, which is an interesting thing to hear when NVIDIA themselves said that it's supposed to be dropping this fall. So what is long way to go relatively? It sounds like this fall it's not going to work properly or be extremely niche and taxing on your system. There's also some questions to be raised about its functionality. Let's not sit here and pretend that all the things we saw in that video showing off DLSS5, that there wasn't zero gameplay being shown. It was all either cutscenes or conversations with sitting static NPCs or straight up pre-rendered trailer-like cinematics. We didn't actually see any functionality and use in real-time gameplay. So how this thing is actually going to function and operate out in the field is also a big question and kind of a red flag that we didn't see any of it. I don't think this is a good thing for the gaming industry, especially AAA gaming, which are going to be the predominant people that use this. It's going to lead to lazier development of games, while also probably end up costing both the customer more and the developers more, all to give us something that, from what it seems like, the majority of people don't really want. All I can really see is this potentially pushing the AAA gaming industry further into destitute, which on some levels actually, hey, I kind of support. Mostly because I think a lot of these AAA studios have been around way too long, no longer employ any of the creative talent that was actually needed to produce some of the legendary games that were produced from them, and are essentially deadwood that need to be cleared out to make room for new growth in the gaming forest. And that new original ideas, and now from what it seems, original art styles, are probably going to come from indie developers. But hey, those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go and leave them in the comments. If you liked this video, go and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, appreciate you watching all of it, and we'll talk to you again later.